Hello and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Regier. What's so funny?
Oh my gosh, we've had a couple of funny...
I know. Well, what happened this morning is that our microphone fell down from where we attach it up above us. So it's balancing ever so gently on this table that we're using. And I keep on telling Chelsea not to touch it. Don't move your legs. Don't move your body. Don't move.
That's kind of a thing, actually. Yeah. You might have just heard that rubber band snap on my wrist. Because I'm always touching my hair and touching and moving my hands. And every week after we review the footage on YouTube, I'm like, oh man, I wish my hands, the nervousness. I don't mind talking with my hands, but always touching something, always touching my hair. So today, by having to stay still, I have to be very
I feel like we will not get through this recording without knocking this microphone over at least once.
I'm going to be better than that.
It's fine. It might be me. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a so fired moment?
No.
Way to do your homework.
Well, the one I do have is the one I told you in the elevator.
Oh.
I didn't touch it.
Okay.
And so, okay.
So we can't really talk about that?
No, but it was good thing, bad thing. And then ultimately I saw it as a good thing.
Okay.
All right. I'll try and think of something.
Let's see. My so fired moment. I did a presentation yesterday for a networking group, and I could not find the presentation on my laptop for the life of me. And of course, I had 1 month to prep for this whole thing. And I waited until the night before to look for my presentation and then edit it. And I'm scouring my entire laptop. It turns out I made the PowerPoint on Canva for some reason. I don't know why I did that. But I found it. I edited it.
Like a Canva thing.
Yeah.
Where would you have made it originally?
It was on Canva.
No.
Usually I do it on PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah. No, it was much more whimsical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was freaking out that I didn't have a talk. I'm like, okay, I just have to
yelled at me for not having the assignment done.
I know.
And yours is a public
Mine's a whole public speaking in front of 30 people that showed up and are depending on me to deliver some value to them. And I'm like, whatever, I'm going to roll out of bed and roll with it.
And then you're mad at me for not having my so fired moment.
But I found it. I practiced it one time through before I showed up, and everyone looked very intrigued, and they took the QR code for my coaching book. So that was super exciting. It went much better than I thought it was going to. And you surprised me. So
I surprised you what?
You showed up to the networking event. Okay, I wasn't really actually surprised that she showed up.
All right, let's set this up.
But
you're going to
that's my moment.
And okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good moment.
Yeah. So, okay, maybe this is your so fired moment. Chelsea called me on the way to this networking event yesterday, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm on my way to my event."
Is that what I sound
like? And you're like, "Did you practice?" I'm like, "No."
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did say that.
Yes.
Yes, but that's dating back to oh, we always practice before we go on shit. Okay?
Yeah, and then you just hung up on me abruptly. I'm like,
well, no.
Okay.
Doug walked in the room.
Oh. I was like, okay, but no, but when you asked me oh, where are you going? You're like, oh, that's today. I'm like, she's totally coming. I had a feeling you would show up, and then so I
make it sound so I just figured you'd be there.
Yeah, I just channel your energy, and I'm like, I bet you she's coming.
Were you excited?
I was, but I mean, you were disappointed in my excitement because I was just like, hey, and then I went back to talking to who I was talking.
I know.
To.
I was like,
but
what?
But you got to meet a whole bunch of new people.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stand up, practice your little pitch for practice the pitch for the podcast.
Yeah.
You have a cute photo out of it.
Photo?
Yeah.
It was nice.
So even though my disappointment and excitement was maybe a little so fired, the fire moment was that you have a cute photo out of it.
You created my own so fire.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Just like yesterday when I needed help with my intro.
Yeah.
And you texted to me and you're check your phone. Ironically enough, because I just said last week that I
that you
have alerts for everything.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are you not looking at your phone right now?
and then I read it and I was like, oh, that's right. That's when this speech comes into play.
Yes.
I didn't know which one to plug in.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the podcast one. So,
yeah. And then
and now she's joined a networking group. So
so
we have even more time to spend together.
Great. And those are on Tuesdays.
Yeah. What else is going on?
Oh, nothing.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. So I got divorced.
Yeah. Wow, that was so anticlimactic.
Well, I didn't know. I wasn't gonna be like, hey, no, it's more. I'm surprised. I got divorced. It's nervous.
I'm surprised. And you just told someone, like a random person yesterday
It's easier to talk
at
to
the networking event. She's talking to this new girl that we have literally never met before in our lives. And she's like, oh my gosh, you kind of look like Blake Lively. So yeah, I just got divorced. And I was like, oh, what? We did not discuss this before you popped in to this event.
That's what she was surprised about.
That's what I was surprised about. Like, if you want surprise from me, like, drop that bomb. Like, oh, what? Because this has been, you getting divorced has been what we've been dabbling around talking about for the longest time. And you've been talking about doing it, not doing it, doing it, not doing it. And it's like just very complicated, and people all have their own opinions about what you should do and how you should handle it. And I think that was also just kind of hindering the decision. But now that it's official and you're divorced, or finishing the process of getting divorced in the process, and it's like spoken and that's what's happening, I'm very excited for you to be able to finally like say all the things you want to say and like live your life.
I think we would get here.
No. I'm like, oh my God, I'll be like 50 by the time we get here. We'll be in like a whole new studio and
I'll still be sad. But that's not the case. That is
no. So I don't know. Congrats.
Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, I don't know, like interesting timing, because then when we're talking about what are we going to talk about today, somehow I went down a rabbit hole of attachment disorder.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry I'm not doing a very good job of being articulate, because this is still very emotional for me. This isn't like, and I'm done.
Right.
This is like, I have never been in this part of this process yet.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to freak the fuck out, but I am a little bit like I kind of described last week. Where it's like, oh my God, this is happening. Whoa. Like, that's what it feels like.
You look like you're on a roller coaster going up to the top, and you're like,
and you're like, oh, this is gonna bottom out at some point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the So it's very exciting, and thank you very much. This has been something that you've helped support me in for a very long time, and I couldn't have done it without you. I was thinking about relationships, and what I've noticed about myself for the first time in like 15 years, I realize I struggle with. Okay, I don't struggle with this, but this is posing some problems. Okay, so I kind of described it a little bit last week.
Yes.
I'm like eager, and I'm like too quick to over-explain and just like say all these things. And I don't know where in the universe, TikTok must have heard it, or somebody or something presented it digitally to me and said, attachment.
I don't want to say disorder, attachment style.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have an anxious attachment style, which means I am like triggered. If I don't hear from you in a long period of time, I will have a reaction. If I'm always trying to interpret a non-interpretable action.
Yes. Also, based on my readings and just how I know you, just like you want the support and the approval, right? Like instantly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm having a hard time.
Or people who have more of like an anxious style of attachment disorder can be preoccupied to avoid being more clingy, but there's a little clinginess. But I would have never said that you were clingy until you said that you were clingy.
Oh, well, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And perhaps I'm clingy to avoidant types. Because there are 4 types.
There are 4 types. So there's anxious, there's avoidant, and then there's disorganized, and then secure. So an anxious style would be
me.
Like,
I'm anxious.
You're anxious. And then an avoidant one would be like a lone wolf, and they're pretty self-sufficient. They don't really need all the physical contact.
So this sounds like my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And so am I clingy, or am I just trying to make a bond and overcompensating for an avoidant?
But would 2 anxious people be well together? That sounds like that would be really self-destructive. You guys would both be clinging on to each other for
I don't know that it
life.
works. I don't know that it would work out.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you're like things trigger your clingy. And clingy sounds negative to me, but
Right.
like certain actions, words, things trigger
Mhm.
in which then evoke the same response that you might have utilized for skill sets because they want to blame it on the parents.
Yeah.
For this.
Blame everything on the parents. It's all about how you got along with your mom, with your dad, and then how well they took care of you, how well they were there for you emotionally. So I was taking this quiz about what attachment style I am, and mine was so strong to like strongly disagree or strongly agree. Like it was not neutral at any kind. It's like, oh, do you turn to your mom in a time of need? I'm like, hell no. So like, do you turn to your dad? I'm like, no. I'm like,
I hate my dad.
yeah,
I hate my parents.
it was like, and then when it comes to other relationships, I'm like, yeah, I do talk to people and I do like this. And I'm just like a totally opposite person than I am with my parents.
I think so.
Yeah.
It always comes back to our parents.
Yeah. So that put me in the secure style.
Okay, so I was thinking you're somewhat of an anxious, what's the second one?
Avoidant.
I kind
Yeah.
of feel like you are. So here's why our relationship works.
Mhm.
And this is why I'm going on the record and saying it's not necessarily the attachment style, but the people. Maybe. Wait, is that what I meant to say? Anyway, you are an avoidant and but you still make me feel good. You like
Mhm.
respond and you don't make me feel like I'm too clingy. And so there's trust and you've like, it's okay if you don't hear from me. I'm probably you have taught me to trust an avoidant.
Yes.
Right?
Because I am pretty self-sufficient and
That's not the point I mean.
Yeah.
It's just that
but
you
like I
acknowledge who I am as a person
right.
and celebrate and acknowledge it and then reconfigure a little bit to accommodate my needs.
Yeah. And it took me a while to figure that out for sure. I was like, I'm like, what? I just didn't talk to you for a day. Like, I don't really get what the big deal is.
However,
And I didn't like understand it at first or how like other relationships like played into ours. Like I didn't like get it at first. And then I just thought you were joking. You're like, why didn't you call me? I was like, ha, that's funny.
what is that?
Like when you're like, call me, like, why are you mad at me? And like, what's going
those are
on?
jokes, actually.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're joking because I haven't talked to you in a few days. So,
Yeah, that's a long time.
yeah.
Come on now. Don't even put that on me because now Mondays roll around and we're like, actually, we do talk on Saturdays. So it's like Sunday, Mondays are our weekends.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant industry.
Yeah, totally. But it took me a while to understand that that's your style because I am totally okay with like never talking to anyone for like weeks at a
Like you
time.
call me now.
Yeah.
I think you're into
And I'm
it.
definitely not, I was not a caller. I only call you.
You're into it though. You're
Like-
kind of into it.
Yeah,
Don't make
yeah. What do you mean like I'm into it? Like,
You call me. And we have good talks.
yeah, we have good talks.
We have really good talks.
Uh-huh.
So for you to be like, I'm not really a talker on the phone. I call.
Oh,
Bullshit.
well, now you turned me into a talker on the phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
Otherwise,
I'm not a talker. You're the only person I enjoy speaking with on the phone.
Yeah,
Because
same.
they're funny. We have really good ones. And you're always doing something.
I was doing something or like, yeah, we're always talking. Even at that event yesterday, we were talking and someone came in, like, sorry to interrupt. I'm like, it's fine. We'll pick up right where we left off.
Yeah, they apologized for interrupting us.
I'm like, no, you're fine. Like, I'll talk to her again in 5 minutes.
As soon as you walk away.
Yeah. Like, we're good. Do you know any disorganized attachment styles?
I don't know.
So this is a disorganized type, is that they do want intimacy and closeness, but at the same time, they have trouble trusting people. and
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on
We
people.
know that person.
Mm,
We don't know that person anymore.
no. Oh, yeah. You're so true. You're so right. And then it was like put on us to try to make them feel better. Mhm.
How did you miss that?
I don't know.
And that's why
I
we're all-
forgot about her. Honestly.
I keep thinking about her. I want to get her off my mind.
Oh,
Anyway,
we have her on the show.
okay.
You guys don't know what we're talking about. Go back to earlier this year, probably around like March, February,
Who knows?
somewhere around that time. We might
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
like
breaking up with a
March.
best friend.
Maybe April. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah. But like also with the attachment styles, it's just because you're in one category doesn't mean you're not in another. They overlap a lot.
Might have
'Cause-
multiple issues.
Yeah. Because I'm like avoidant, but then also secure at the same
Of
time.
course, you were the other one was gonna be secure. It's not like it
Obviously.
was going to be like avoidant and like needy or what's it called, anxious.
Anxious.
You're like, you might not be entirely avoidant. You might actually be perfect and a little avoidant. In which case, that makes me cool.
Well, some of this is not accurate. I'm like, I don't really like to share all of my emotions.
You do with me?
Yeah. So this is like why
very loud.
this is why the quiz is kind of interesting, because it just depends on who you are in my life. If you're you or Austin or like someone
Yeah.
super duper close to me, like, yeah, like I'll tell you everything that I'm thinking on my mind.
Not everyone. You tell me a thought after
Thought after thought after thought.
That's why you're into it.
So I think that's good that we can like find people that are not in our same styles to make us grow.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
here's the problem.
Yep.
That is the beauty of a female friendship. Female friendship. That's nice.
Because I'm so secure in myself.
Fine, I'm glad you are. Whatever. That was really very, you know, what I think is a sad state of affairs right now is that when you look up like disorders, they send you to TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, they totally do. I'm not even on TikTok, and somehow it's my news source. Like, I was learning all the trends that are in and out from TikTok, and somehow, like, stumbled into my email. I'm not sure how that happened. Yeah, and it's just like,
TikTok's in my email a lot.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to know anything about any mental disorder? Just go on TikTok. Like, these doctors are legit. Like, I should get back on TikTok just to educate myself. You know what? I bet you there's someone on TikTok that will walk you through exactly what to text when someone texts you. It's so niche. I guarantee that is on there.
Patreon for sure.
Yeah. So it's out there.
We should do it. You should do it.
I should translate.
Oh man, it's so hard. I gotta tell you, I'm not comfortable with this.
Okay, but let's say that you were on the flip side and you sent a text and someone comes back with this long paragraph.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like, you don't.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that. It's not like I'm overdoing that. What I'm overdoing is like checking the phone.
Oh.
Over angsting on what to say. Trigger.
Well,
there are no notifications, but it's just like, but my real life, I'm like, oh, ew. You know what I mean? And
every other person in the world don't give a fuck.
Like, so it's why, yeah. So I think just because we like put a different title over it, somehow that makes it like, who cares? Like, I just want to, it makes me really sad not to be myself right now.
Yeah. Was your mom on beck and call for your dad?
Yeah.
Blame it on your mom.
Oh yeah, and she was the avoidant parent. I was like, I wonder if I was like Hungary, right? In the 80s when was it Hungary? Eastern European, where they would adopt all the babies because they were in the cribs and no one had touched them for like hours.
Oh. I don't even know what that's about.
Like, it was always on 60 Minutes, you know, that show.
Oh yeah.
Growing up, and they would do like a one of their features would be on a orphanage somewhere in Eastern Europe where these children have been in the orphanage, little babies in cribs who haven't been touched in like
hours.
Yeah, like neglect and like. And
they're like, just let them cry it out. They're fine.
Yeah,
they're
no.
fine.
So then the U.S. like they would adopt these children and the attachment disorders, and I often wonder, I'm like, well, in my head, I joke, like, is that what it looked like with my mom?
Yeah.
That just left me in my crib for like 18 hours to self-soothe and cry by myself.
Do you think that
it's funny? I think it's funny.
It's funny.
It's not
okay,
funny.
but like because you're a baby, you don't remember anything until a certain age. So do you think that really implant like?
Yeah, I do. I remember
mind?
vividly sitting like crying in my bed and not wondering like, why are they just letting me cry this out?
Oh, how old were you?
Like 4.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty old.
Old enough.
Yeah, old enough
to make a memory.
Yeah,
and I was like, why? Yeah, no, there's no doubt that it is entirely possible that my parents are to blame for this. They are 100% like $20,000 of money is spent, say, like dealing with this attachment.
But then I think also like the relationship that you're just getting out of, it also like kept you in that style.
It did indeed. And they say that was half the reason why I was attracted to it, because it was recreating in a subconscious effort to finally fix and mend it. And I think we did.
I think so.
Look at that.
Now you can get hypnotized to get out of this style.
Yeah. I mean, I did it without getting hypnotized. It just took me 10 years. I hope it's not going to take me that long now. But
what if you could do it in 10 weeks?
Yeah. When write a
Yeah.
course.
Write a course on it.
Fuck yourself each step of the way.
Just hypnotize yourself at night and you're like, I don't have attachment style disorder.
Well, I bet there is.
There probably is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, we do all the other hypnosis and everything. So, I mean, it only makes sense that there would be one for that.
So, yeah. And what I'm excited, here's a so fired. I wasn't ready to say it until I am now about my so fired moment because I had to get here the whole time.
Yep.
So while one door is closing and like that's uncomfortable, it's exciting to like legit be in something like new that I have not experienced. And now as we advance again in this Ready Player One, we're at like level 2, maybe, where it's like, I haven't mastered this yet and I still have like shit to learn. And I do remember not thinking too terribly long ago, like, have I learned everything? Like,
I know everything. I have like seen it all.
I have to be tested again.
Yeah.
And like preferably tested in ways in which I haven't been tested yet.
Mm-hmm. So are you more afraid of the unknown, of not knowing what to do, or are you more afraid of repeating this pattern again?
Oh, well, I don't know. Is it a one or the other?
Yeah, pick one. Which one's scarier?
What were the two?
Are you more afraid of the unknown, or are you more afraid of repeating this pattern?
The unknown. I know how to do this pattern.
Yep.
I know how to do this. Do you know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. It's sad, but that is the reality.
And you can know when you're slipping into it.
If it's an iceberg, I have more life experience living this life.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but like this is my wheelhouse. So anything new and healthy might not be my wheelhouse and will be the very tip of the iceberg that I am not familiar with. It's gonna be cold as fuck up there because there's wind and you're exposed and you don't know and you don't.
That's where the real challenge comes in, because you can either go towards it or just like go back around to what you know. Be like, you know what? We'll just like stay here.
And I think kind of full circle saying all of this today on air, because it's hard. It doesn't come very naturally. And it's almost like, I can't go back.
It's out there.
Like, and you have been dying for me to do this for a really, really long time because I was like, I'm afraid to jump. And you're like, jump. And I'm like, no.
You jumped.
You're so fucked.
No, you're not. So far, so good. Am I?
You are. You're gonna have so many late night, like all those.
Oh well, good thing my phone doesn't give me any notifications, and I'll be sleeping.
No, but I need you. I need you more now than ever.
Okay, well, just call 3 times in a row, and then it should go through.
Oh, there's a trick.
I think so.
Oh, that's nice.
But I'm also always sleeping by like 9 p.m.
Can't you put me on like hours of alerts?
I think that.
Can I be like 9 to 4?
I think if you call multiple times in a row between those hours when I'm at work or something, then it goes through. I'm not sure.
Oh, here is how I'm going to. So I got these new boots.
This is getting risky. Is the microphone gonna make it?
They're amazing. And no, I didn't knock it over.
Yeah.
I just got them last night. I wore them
cute.
for about 100 yards.
Yep.
And I told Lindsay if she wanted to borrow them for this wedding this weekend, she could. And I was like, it was going to be better if I said they were never used, but they're like second to use.
They are barely used. I mean, you haven't even had them for 24 hours.
No. So I said you could take them.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, wow. I'm sorry. I should have held off.
It's such a flattering.
No, but it's like the equivalent of like tiny houses.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Borrowing someone's new shoes is like unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, let's spend a minute there.
I know.
If you were like, no, I just got these Dolce Vitas in the mail. I haven't worn them yet. Do you want to take them? Be like, what?
Yeah. I know. I'm like, whoa.
I know. And that's
like a whole new level of generosity. Like,
I'm sorry. I should have let you take them out of the box. They're a little. I had to. Plus, I wanted you to see them on.
I know.
But
they might be too big on me, but I'll try them on.
They might be. Anyway, that was my act of love.
Thanks. Okay, so we should link this attachment style quiz because I just think it's interesting to see how you are triggered and how you respond in your relationships in life. And they do focus more on romantic relationships, but I think it's relative to all relationships in your life. And you can see if you're repeating patterns or like attracting the same type of people in your life or friends, and if you're self-sabotaging on accident. So
or intentionally.
But
did you see my story? I think I put it on, was it my story or So Fired? I'll link it both. But it's like, stop trying to like consistently make things worse.
Good one.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Make sure that you take a screenshot of this episode and tag us on Instagram with your takeaways. And we want to personally thank you because this is how we grow our podcast, by spreading it through social media. And then make sure you are subscribed. And then we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.